An idiot, even with exchanged points, remains an idiot. My mother connected my older sister, Fiona, to a point exchange system. Mom told her, "From now on, just let your sister, Vivian, stay up all night studying and solving exam papers for you. You can relax and rest comfortably." I knew perfectly well that on the day of the university entrance exam, my scores and hers would be swapped. Despite this, I continued to burn the midnight oil, studying diligently. 3 months later, when the results came out, my sister, Fiona, scored 723 points, naturally becoming the top student. I, on the other hand, only managed a mere 311 points. Fiona sneered. "All that effort for nothing, wasn't it? You still only got into a vocational college, didn't you? While I'm about to enter Tsinghua University." I remained silent, choosing not to argue. All her life, my mother had always shown favoritism towards Fiona, showering her with the best of everything. Whatever Fiona desired, Mom never refused. When we were little, Fiona loved princess dresses, and Mom would readily spend half her monthly salary to buy them for her. I, however, was only allowed to wear Fiona's hand-me-downs or a few cheap clothes from the market, just for the sake of it. Later, when the point exchange system appeared, my mother immediately linked it to my sister. That day, I came home earlier than usual. Just as I reached the door, I heard Mom excitedly discussing with Fiona. "Fiona, darling, let's quickly seize this opportunity and link with this system. From now on, just let your sister, Vivian, stay up late studying and solving problems for you. You can eat, sleep, rest, and recuperate without any worries. On the day of the university exam, your scores will automatically be swapped." Mom's voice was full of smug satisfaction. "It sounds good, but Mom, will it really work?" Fiona's voice held a hint of doubt but couldn't hide her underlying joy. "Of course it's real. I've asked thoroughly and you heard it too. Come on, quickly link it, my little valedictorian. Oh, and you must keep this a secret. Don't let your sister know. Otherwise, she might not study diligently and it would affect you." Standing outside the door, my heart turned to ice, but I didn't burst in to demand answers. What would be the point? In this family, I had never been the favored child. I simply pushed the door open and walked in silently, pretending not to have heard anything. "Mom, I'm home." The moment Mom saw me, the smile on her face noticeably dimmed. She asked in an indifferent tone, "Do you have a lot of homework today?" Without waiting for my reply, she turned to Fiona, her voice suddenly brimming with warmth and affection. "Fiona, my dear, today I made your favorite black chicken soup. Eat it while it's hot to regain your strength." I lowered my head, trying to conceal the mockery in my eyes. A point exchange system, huh? It sounded incredibly powerful, but I wondered if it would truly play out exactly as they wished. From that day on, Fiona enjoyed complete freedom. Before, she would at least pretend to study for a while. But now, she tossed all her books aside, spending her time watching movies, scrolling on her phone, and occasionally meeting friends for shopping and manicures. Her excuse was to relax her mind in preparation for the university exam. As for me, I continued to burn the candle at both ends. My desk was always piled high with books, my notebooks filled with dense writing, one after another. But my efforts were solely for myself, my determination unwavering for anyone else. It was precisely because of their scheme that, in the months leading up to the university exam, I received unprecedented special treatment. Before, Mom never paid attention to what I liked to eat. Now, the dining table would sometimes feature a few of my favorite dishes. Previously, when I stayed up late studying, she would only urge me to go to bed early, not to disturb my sister's rest. Now, on the contrary, she would secretly bring me milk and fruit. I knew these, kind gestures, didn't stem from love, but from their hope that I would achieve higher scores to secure a better future for Fiona. Sometimes, when I woke up for a drink in the middle of the night or came home early from school, I would faintly hear them whispering in the living room. "Mom, look at Vivian. She's really a fool. Staying up late studying every day, looking like a bookworm, isn't she just slaving away for your daughter?" My sister's voice didn't hide her glee. Mom chimed in, her voice full of smugness. "Exactly. The harder she tries, the higher our Fiona's scores will be later. Getting into Tsinghua is a sure thing now. She probably thinks she's doing so well. When the results come out, her face will be priceless." Fiona laughed mockingly, as if already picturing the scene. Each time I heard these words, I silently returned to my room. They thought I was oblivious. How ridiculous. That was precisely what I wanted. The day before the university exam, Mom went around begging for good luck charms for Fiona. She even took her to a 5-star restaurant for a special, valedictorian, meal, hoping for good fortune. As for me, I only received a stern reminder. Tomorrow your sister has her university exam. Tonight, you'd better keep quiet and not make any noise that would disturb her rest. I nodded, closed my room door, and took the opportunity to review my lessons one last time. During the university exam days, the weather was stiflingly hot. Every day, Fiona would step out of the house beautifully dressed and radiant. Mom's words of caution were endless. "Fiona, don't worry too much, just stay calm and do your best. Mom trusts you." Fiona smiled charmingly at Mom. "I know, Mom, just wait for my good news." I, on the other hand, quietly walked into the exam room, just like countless practice tests before, calmly solving each question. I knew perfectly well that those scores would ultimately belong to Fiona, but I didn't care. On the day the exam results were released, our house was as lively and bustling as a holiday. From early morning, Mom was muttering nonstop. "I wonder how many points Fiona got. HMPH, but there's definitely no problem with our Fiona, right?" Fiona feigned extreme confidence, saying, "Oh, Mom, I'm still so worried." But her face couldn't hide her smugness. As soon as the results portal opened, Fiona quickly entered her candidate number. The numbers that appeared on the screen were jarringly strange, all zeros. Mom flinched, about to turn and scold me when she heard Fiona's loud shriek. "Aha, Mom, the scores are hidden, top 50 in the entire province. Definitely, I'm definitely in." Fiona shrieked with delight, hugging Mom tightly and jumping up and down. Mom's stern expression softened, and she was so happy she cried, tears streaming down her face. "My good daughter, you truly make me proud." The entire house was filled with the excited laughter and cheers of the mother and daughter. No one remembered that today was also the day I found out my exam results. I silently returned to my room, closing the door tightly, isolating myself from the outside noise. I entered my candidate number. A cold number appeared on the screen, 311 points, just as expected. A moment later, there was a knock on the door. It was Fiona. Her face clearly showed a mocking expression. "Vivian, what did you score?" She knew perfectly well, yet she still deliberately asked. Before I could even answer, she pretended to just see the number and burst out. "Oh, 311 points. Ha 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 ha, what's the use of trying so hard? It's nothing, just a vocational college, right?" She paced back and forth in front of me, then declared, "But asterisk me." She puffed out her chest like a proud peacock. "I'm about to enter Tsinghua University, you see. Perhaps this is what they call destiny. Some people are born lucky, while others are born to suffer." Mom's face was beaming, but she still offered a few perfunctory words of comfort. "Vivian, dear, your scores this time really weren't as expected, but it's okay, you're a girl. Going to vocational college and marrying early is also good." She paused for a moment, then continued, "Your sister is different. She's so smart, she'll achieve great things later." The city just called to report her score, 723 points. She's the provincial valedictorian, and she even received an additional 200,000 yuan cash prize. This money will be for her tuition fees and expenses during university. Fiona, standing nearby, chimed in. "That's right, Mom. We need to plan how to use this 200,000 yuan carefully. I need to buy a new computer, a new phone, and a whole bunch of new clothes." They went back and forth, completely ignoring my presence. I looked at their overly joyful expressions, fixated on the money, and simply shook my head gently, offering no rebuttal. How foolish. How could such an unnatural thing as a point exchange system be limitless? It only works once. Fiona entered Tsinghua University with my asterisk scores. Would she even be able to graduate? Someone so poor at studying, who didn't even grasp basic knowledge, entering Tsinghua University. A place for the nation's most brilliant students, would she even last a semester? And what about me? If I didn't become the valedictorian this year, wouldn't that title simply belong to me next year, when I retake the exam? This small valedictorian title was merely a farewell gift from a university student like me to a high school student like her. That evening, our family hosted a grand party to celebrate Fiona's high achievement. Relatives and friends came, showering Fiona and Mom with continuous praise. "Oh my, the Duong family is truly blessed to have raised a daughter who became a top scholar. Little Fiona has been smart since she was young. You can tell she has an academic aptitude." Fiona was elated by the adoration. her face radiant, as she continuously offered drinks to everyone. Mom beamed as if she could already see Fiona's bright future. During the party, someone asked about me. "Where's Vivian? How were her exam results?" Mom's cheerful smile froze for a moment, then she waved her hand dismissively, sighing, "Don't even mention it. That girl has no ambition whatsoever. She scored less than 300 points. Vocational college is just right for her." Her tone clearly conveyed disappointment. The people around tactfully didn't press further, instead shifting back to praising Fiona. I sat alone in a corner of the house, quietly eating some leftover food, observing the play unfolding before my eyes. After all the guests had left, Fiona was dead drunk and was led to her bedroom. Mom was still in the living room, humming a tune as she tidied up the messy dining table, clearly still immersed in her victory. I took a deep breath and approached her. Mom looked up at me, her voice less than friendly. "What is it? Not asleep yet? Don't you have to wake up early tomorrow to pack your sister's things?" In her eyes, I was merely an accessory to Fiona, an unpaid helper. "Mom, I want to talk to you for a bit." I tried to keep my voice as calm as possible. "What is it? Let me tell you first. Don't even dream about your sister's 200,000 yuan prize money. She earned that herself." She immediately became as vigilant as a mother hen protecting her chicks. I gave a faint, internal chuckle. Herself? Without that system, Fiona probably wouldn't even have enough points to get into university right now. "I know that's hers." I hesitated for a moment, looking directly into her eyes, enunciating each word clearly. "Mom, I want to retake the exam." Mom stared blankly, then burst out laughing as if she'd heard something utterly ridiculous. "Retake the exam? Vivian, what's wrong with you? How much money do you think I have to waste for you to study another year? Just dutifully go to vocational college, graduate, and find someone to marry soon. Don't stay home and embarrass me." "I won't go to vocational college." My attitude was firm and resolute. "I want to retake the exam. Next year I'll also become the valedictorian and show you, Mom. You must know I have the ability to ace it." She froze, scrutinizing me, trying to see if I had discovered anything. But I took another step closer, lowering my head to hide my true emotions. I lowered my voice. "This year, it was just because I wasn't feeling well. I didn't perform my best. Think about it, Mom. This year, my sister is the valedictorian and received 200,000 yuan, right? So what if next year I also become the valedictorian and receive 200,000 yuan?" At the mention of money, Mom's eyes suddenly lit up. "Then wouldn't our family have a substantial additional income?" Mom's face relaxed, much less tense. 200,000 yuan was a considerable sum for a middle-class family like ours. Mom still hesitated slightly about this matter. "Are you sure you can do it?" "One more year, Mom. I believe I can do it. Give me 1 year to try. If next year I don't achieve valedictorian status or my scores still don't meet expectations, I'll voluntarily start working immediately without anyone needing to remind me. I promise I won't be a burden to the family anymore." I looked directly into Mom's eyes, my gaze showing absolute determination. "But what if I pass, Mom?" I smiled gently. "Then it's like we've found 200,000 yuan. My sister's studies at Tsinghua are expensive, aren't they? Tuition fees, living expenses, plus the new computer, phone, and new clothes she wants. Wouldn't this prize money of mine just perfectly help the family and also make your sister's university life more comfortable?" I knew my mother too well. She probably hadn't expected that even with my poor scores this year, I would retain such confidence. She thought I would be disheartened after this failure. My sister had been like that, so Mom always gave her the best, not wanting her to experience any difficulties. Sure enough, she began to seriously consider my proposal. Just then, Dad came out from the inner room, having undoubtedly overheard our conversation. He was usually easily swayed by others' opinions, with Mom making all the decisions in the house. However, he was particularly sharp when it came to money, even more so than Mom. "If studying for another year can really lead to becoming the valedictorian," he rubbed his chin, his eyes glinting with calculation, "this doesn't seem like a loss." Mom shot Dad a glance, but she was clearly wavering. "Mom, please, just let me try," I pressed on, seizing the advantage. "Consider it giving me a chance and also giving the whole family a chance to earn more income. If I pass, the whole family will be happy, and if I don't, I'll accept it without a single complaint." Mom remained silent for a long time. I understood she was weighing the pros and cons. My feelings held no value in her eyes. However, the irresistible allure of money was something she found hard to refuse. After a long while, she finally agreed to the compromise. "All right, I'll give you 1 more year to try." She looked at me, her eyes as cold as ever. "But I'm telling you now, you still have to do all the housework this year. If next year you still don't pass properly, you'll be in trouble. Plus, for your restudy fees, this family will only cover the minimum tuition. The rest you'll have to manage yourself." Dad, standing nearby, chimed in, "That's right, don't add any more burden to your mother. Your sister out there is spending a lot already." I nodded, a strange calm in my heart. Yes, I understand. Achieving my goal was what mattered, their attitude I was long accustomed to. Then I'll head back to my room. I turned to leave, Mom's impatient, urging voice behind me. "Go on, hurry up, don't stand there, you're an eyesore." Back in my room, I slammed the door shut, letting out a sigh of relief. The first step was a success. "Fiona, the taste of Tsinghua University. I hope you savor it well." Days turned into weeks. I confined myself to my room, ignoring the outside world, dedicating all my focus to books. Occasionally, Mom would bring a bowl of rice, placing it heavily on my desk, coldly uttering, "Eat." "Thank you, Mom," I would reply. She never lingered for even a second, as if my room were a dangerous plague zone. Dad was even more absent. Perhaps he feared I would ask for money. It was better this way, peaceful. News of Fiona at Tsinghua occasionally filtered back. At first, of course, it was all praise. "Oh my, your Fiona is truly talented. A Tsinghua student is different. How many years has it been since anyone from our area got into Tsinghua?" Mom, upon hearing these words, puffed out her chest with pride, her lips curving into a wide, chrysanthemum-like smile. "Oh no, she just worked hard herself." Her words were humble, but she was brimming with self-satisfaction. She boasted to everyone she met about how much her teachers at Tsinghua admired Fiona and how actively she participated in activities. However, paper can't wrap fire. Before long, the situation reversed. First came rumors from the younger relatives. They were also studying at universities in Beijing and had mutual friends. "It seems Fiona is having trouble studying at Tsinghua. I heard her initial exam scores weren't very high. Advanced calculus is incredibly difficult. She couldn't solve any problems and was so upset her hair was falling out." Mom's face darkened when she heard these words. What do those kids know? Not everyone can do Tsinghua exam papers. "Fiona just started, she's still getting used to it." She tried to defend her, but the panic in her eyes couldn't be concealed. Then, one time, Aunt Lily visited. Her daughter, Lena, also studied in Beijing, in the same city as Fiona. Aunt Lily secretly pulled Mom aside and whispered, "Sister, is Fiona's schooling not going very smoothly?" Mom's face immediately drooped. "What nonsense are you talking about? My girl is doing great in school." "Oh, don't hide it from me, sister. My Lena told me everything. She said Fiona is quite famous at Tsinghua, but many people are gossiping behind her back, saying her valedictorian title seems a bit unreal." Aunt Lily paused, carefully observing Mom's reaction. "She also said Fiona answers questions in class incoherently and doesn't contribute anything to group discussions. She's failed many subjects several times." Mom's lips trembled for a long time before she could speak. This can't be true. My Fiona has been smart since she was little." "Sister, she's smart, all right, but what kind of place is Tsinghua? All the nation's elites gather there. Maybe Fiona just got lucky on the university entrance exam." Mom suddenly stood up, pointing at the door. "Get out, right now." Her voice was clearly agitated. "My Fiona is very capable. I don't need you here speaking such nonsense." Aunt Lily left, deflated and embarrassed. Mom slammed the door shut, leaned her back against it, and slowly sank to the floor, her eyes hollow. I saw it all through the crack in the door, yet felt no stir in my heart. You reap what you sow. Fiona's experience at Tsinghua was only just beginning. Another June arrived. The day before my university exam, Fiona made a quick trip home. She had grown thin and looked haggard, no longer possessing the radiance of the former valedictorian. Her entire body drooped like a salted eggplant. Her previous smugness was gone. Instead, she kept stealing glances at me, her eyes filled with an indescribable mix of suspicion and worry. That evening, as I was preparing my books for the next day and getting ready for bed, I heard the soft creak of my room door opening. Fiona tiptoed in, approached my desk, took my pencil case, and reached inside, seemingly trying to slip something in. I had long anticipated she might try something, so I pretended to be asleep. Just as she was about to succeed, I suddenly sat up, grabbing her wrist tightly. A small, neatly folded piece of paper fell from her hand. I held her wrist firmly, looking directly into her face. "Sister, what are you doing?" Fiona's face immediately turned pale. She frantically pulled her hand back, stammering, I didn't, I just..." She quickly hid the paper behind her back, trying to appear calm. "I saw you're about to take the university exam, so I reorganized your notes for you to review before the test." I looked at her with a cold gaze. Realizing her acting was terrible, she switched to threatening me. "Vivian, I know you're smart, but I won't let you get into Tsinghua. Even if your scores are enough, I'll find a way for Mom not to let you go." I nodded. She wanted to use Mom as her trump card again. I stood up and walked towards her. "I know why your scores could be swapped with mine, and of course, I know why you don't want me to go to Tsinghua, but I have a better way. Do you want to hear it?" "What are you talking about?" Fiona's face showed clear horror. "Think about it. If I go to Tsinghua, wouldn't it be more convenient for you?" I ignored her, slowly explaining. "If I go to a different school, how would I help you? Send answers remotely? Or help you hack into Tsinghua's academic management system to change your grades? The risk of that is huge." I paused for a moment, looking into her fear-widened pupils. "If I'm also at Tsinghua, we're sisters, helping each other out. Isn't that perfectly normal? During the exam, I accidentally write an extra copy, and you accidentally pick it up. Who would suspect anything?" Fiona trembled, unable to utter a word. "Sister, are you having trouble with your studies? I'm showing you a way out here," I said, gently patting her shoulder, a sinister smile on my face. "Either you can never rise again, or you can live a stagnant, dying life. You decide." Fiona left in a daze. I knew for sure she would follow through. To maintain her false glamour at Tsinghua, she would do anything. The next day, no one dared to make things difficult for me. I confidently walked into the exam room. This time, everything was for me to reclaim what was rightfully mine. On the day the results were announced, Mom was even more anxious than I was. When the website displayed an unfamiliar sequence of numbers, I clearly heard Mom take a deep breath. She hurriedly called to inquire about the scores, her voice full of excitement. Just as predicted, another valedictorian. My score was even nearly 10 points higher than Fiona's valedictorian title from last year. Dad was openly delighted, rubbing his hands continuously, muttering nonstop. 200,000 yuan, another 200,000 yuan. We're rich. This time, we're truly rich. Mom was equally happy but immediately put on a stern face, glancing at me and huffing. "Well, at least you have some ambition. It wasn't a waste raising you." She hesitated for a moment, then added, "But this money must be saved for your sister first. She spends lavishly." I nodded in reply. "Yes, Mom. Money, I no longer cared about it, because sooner or later I would reclaim everything." I looked out the window. "Fiona, see you at Tsinghua." On orientation day, Fiona and I stepped through the gates of Tsinghua University together, 2 valedictorians from the same family. This news spread like wildfire, echoing throughout the school. Fiona and I became the focal point of all attention. The only difference was, one was a true prodigy, while the other was a fake about to be exposed. During the opening ceremony, the principal specifically mentioned us, encouraging new students to follow our example. I could clearly feel Fiona stiffening beside me, as if sitting on hot coals. The stage lights shone directly on us. I was at ease, while she probably wished there was a hole to crawl into. Official classes began. The first-year curriculum was a breeze for me. Because Fiona had failed some subjects, she had to retake them in the same class as me. These subjects remained as incomprehensible to her as reading a foreign language. During class, the professor called out Fiona's name and asked, "Fiona, do you have any thoughts on this issue?" Fiona stood up, stammering, her face beet red, unable to utter a word. Whispers started to ripple through the classroom. Unbelievable. Is this the level of the previous batch's top student? She seems even worse than me. How did she pass her exams last year? The professor frowned slightly, then his gaze turned to me. "Vivian, why don't you try answering?" I stood up, speaking clearly and coherently, articulating fluently, citing examples from classic works, confident and at ease. The professor nodded with satisfaction, his eyes shining with praise. The murmurs in the classroom grew even louder. "Oh my, this is a truly brilliant student. The difference is huge. Is her sister a free gift when you top up your phone credit or something?" Fiona's head drooped lower, her shoulders trembling slightly. I could imagine her state of mind at that moment. a tangled mess of emotions, utterly mortified. Similar scenes repeatedly played out in the following days. Every introductory lecture, every group discussion, every surprise quiz. Fiona and I became two opposing extremes. I was a shining star, while she was an obscure, dim stone, made even worse by my brilliance. Those who had once flocked around and flattered her gradually left. In their place were suspicion, contempt, and undisguised ridicule. Have you heard? Fiona, the valedictorian from the previous year, failed several subjects in her first semester. Really, wasn't she the smartest? Who knows? Anyway, her sister is much smarter. I think there's an 80% chance there's something fishy about her title. The baseless rumors, like surging waves, drowned Fiona. She started losing sleep, her hair fell out in clumps, and she visibly withered. She didn't dare to go to class, didn't dare to go to the cafeteria, didn't dare to face anyone's gaze. She locked herself in her dorm room like a bird startled by a mere rustle. Mom called, crying and scolding me. "Vivian, you are heartless. Do you only feel satisfied when you see your sister miserable? Will you only be content when you've pushed her to the brink?" "Mom," I replied calmly, without a trace of emotion. "Fiona's current predicament is her own making. She sowed the wind and reaped the whirlwind. She was the one who cheated, not me." "She's your sister. Couldn't you have helped her? And you harmed her so much that she got expelled. What more do you want? Do you want this whole family to die before you're satisfied? Is that it?" "Help," I chuckled faintly. "Before, when everyone stole my achievements, why didn't you consider this day? Did anyone help me then? You all stole my entire life, and you expect me to be grateful in return. You unfilial child, how could I have given birth to a daughter like you? If I had known you were so cold-blooded and heartless, I should have strangled you at birth." Her malicious curses surged like a tide. I listened in silence, feeling no anger, only weariness and relief that everything was finally over. "Then there's nothing more to say. From today onwards, I, Vivian, have no further connection with you, the Duong family. Fiona is your beloved daughter, so from now on, you bear all responsibility for her life, death, and future." "Vivian, how dare you?" I ignored her shrill scream, hanging up the phone without hesitation. Blocked. Every action was swift as lightning. Outside the window, the dazzling golden sunlight illuminated Tsinghua Garden, still as picturesque as a painting. I took a deep breath. This life was mine, and now it was truly beginning. The days flowed by serenely, like clear water, quiet and understated. Life at Tsinghua was busy but deeply meaningful. I was no longer Vivian living under her sister's shadow, nor a puppet whose mind was manipulated by her parents. I was just a regular Tsinghua student, striving and working hard. I attended my Tsinghua graduation ceremony alone. There were no congratulations from my family, no fresh flowers. But as the diploma lay in my hands, I felt an immense sense of solidity. I still clearly remembered the so-called point exchange system. Actually, before my mother even acquired it, it had proactively approached me, asking if I wanted to use it. Thanks to it, I could swap points with anyone. If I happened to not do well on an exam, or didn't rank first in class, I could completely exchange scores. Therefore, I knew this system could only be used for a single point exchange. But I had refused. Only by holding my life in my own hands could I feel truly at peace. Moreover, I didn't need a fake #1 spot. I could achieve it on my own. Yet it remained like a poisonous thorn deeply embedded in my heart. Not just because it had stolen the beginning of my life, but also because it represented injustice, privilege, and the trampling of rules. This incident was considered closed, but what about that system? Did it still exist somewhere, continuing to commit crimes? I didn't know, but I was determined. I had to investigate it thoroughly. I wanted to understand its operating principles, its loopholes, everything related to it. My purpose wasn't to reclaim justice for anyone, nor was it for petty revenge, but for myself, so that those who had been its victims, or might become its victims, could see the truth. I wanted to share with everyone how negatively injustice and privilege could impact people's lives. Though the path ahead was full of challenges, I continued to move forward steadfastly. My destiny was in my hands. This time, no one could snatch anything away from me. Sunlight streamed through the laboratory window, illuminating the computer screen in front of me. On the screen, research documents on data encryption and various algorithmic models were displayed. My research work had only just begun.